How to work on yourself like a boss. Follow these steps. Let me ask you something. What if your breakthrough isn't in a book, a course, or a podcast, but in the version of you've been avoiding? We live in a world where people chase success without first becoming someone who can handle it. They want wealth, respect, and recognition, but they haven't mastered their mood, managed their time, or silenced their distractions. That's why this message is different. Because today, you're not going to learn how to hustle harder. You're going to learn how to build yourself like a boss. So if you're tired of surface-level advice, if you're sick of motivation without transformation, stay with me until the end, because I promise you, these steps will not just inspire you, they'll rewire you. In a world that celebrates dominance, influence, and loud personalities, it's easy to believe that power is all about control. Control over systems, people, markets, or environments. But the truth is, none of those things matter if you haven't first gained control over yourself. Real power doesn't begin with authority over others. It begins with authority over you. Self-mastery is the foundation of every truly successful person. Before they built anything on the outside, they won the war within. They learned how to manage their emotions, tame their impulses, and redirect their thoughts. Because the person who can stay calm in chaos, focused in distraction, and grounded in uncertainty, that's the person who always rises above the noise. Most people are slaves to their moods. If they feel motivated, they move. If they don't, they stop. If they're happy, they're productive. If they're discouraged, they retreat. But a person committed to mastering themselves learns how to move even when it's hard. They understand that discipline isn't about feeling good, it's about doing good, no matter how they feel. Self-mastery means becoming your own boss, not just in words, but in action. You don't wait for others to check on you. You hold yourself accountable. You stop making excuses for why things are the way they are, and you start making decisions that align with who you want to become. You become responsible for your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, and your results. This is what separates dreamers from achievers. Dreamers hope life gets better. Achievers become better. They realize they don't need to change the world first. They need to change how they show up in the world. They don't just set goals. They train themselves to become the kind of person who naturally reaches them. Think about it. How many times have you said you wanted something? To get in shape, to start that business, to save money, to develop a skill. But the only thing standing in your way was you. Not your job, not your family, not your past, just you. Your mindset, your routines, your comfort zone. That's why self-mastery isn't just important, it's everything. When you master yourself, you gain the ability to navigate any environment without losing your center. You can walk through storms without breaking. You can face pressure and still produce. You become someone people trust, respect, and follow, not because you're loud, but because your life is proof of your power. So if you want to work on yourself like a boss, start here. Master your thoughts, govern your emotions, control your impulses, and remember, the greatest victory you will ever win is not over someone else. It's over the untrained, unfocused version of you. Every successful organization has a CEO, someone who provides direction, sets the vision, makes critical decisions, and takes full responsibility for the outcome. That same level of intentionality is exactly what your life requires. You may not have a boardroom, a team, or an office. But the truth is, you are already running a company. The company called you. And just like any company, your success or failure will depend on your leadership. The problem is most people are living as employees in their own lives. They wait for instructions. They wait for the right time. They wait for permission, for motivation, for circumstances to align. They're reactive instead of proactive. But if you want to grow, if you want to lead, if you want to build a life you're proud of, you have to switch mindsets. You have to start thinking like the CEO of your destiny. CEOs don't blame. They don't point fingers when things go wrong. They evaluate, they adapt, they execute. They don't get stuck in feelings. They stay focused on results. And that's exactly what you must do. You are the one who chooses your priorities. You decide where your time goes, who you surround yourself with, what habits you develop, and what goals you chase. Every small decision is a vote for the life you want or the life you'll regret. Leadership begins with vision. If you don't know where you're going, any path will feel right. And that's dangerous. Living without vision leads to drifting. Drifting leads to distraction, and distraction kills destiny. A true CEO wakes up with purpose. They know what matters and what doesn't. They protect their energy, they eliminate noise, they simplify their focus and multiply their results. It's also about accountability. No more outsourcing your responsibility. No more saying, this is just how I am, or I can't help it. Yes, you can help it if you choose to lead yourself. That means making hard calls. That means staying committed when it gets uncomfortable. That means treating your time, your health, your relationships, and your mind as assets, not accidents. When you think like a CEO, your whole life changes. You stop asking, what should I do today? And start asking, what's the highest use of my time right now? You stop letting emotions dictate your actions and start letting vision guide your steps. You stop living for the moment and start building for the future. And here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to build your life for you. The moment you fully embrace that is the moment everything begins to shift. So step into your role. Stand tall in your authority. Be the leader your life has been waiting for, because if you don't run your life like a CEO, someone else will. Motivation is a spark. It's that surge of excitement when you hear an inspiring message, watch a powerful video, or read a life-changing quote. It gets your heart racing and your hopes high. But here's the truth. Motivation is temporary. It fades, it disappears when life gets hard, when distractions show up, or when results don't come fast enough. That's why if you build your life on motivation, you'll be inconsistent, emotional, and stuck in a cycle of starting and stocking. Discipline, on the other hand, is what keeps you going long after the motivation has left. It's what separates people who dream from those who achieve. Discipline is choosing what's right over what's easy. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's doing the work even when no one is watching. Because discipline doesn't ask, do I feel like it today? Discipline says, I made a commitment and I'm keeping it. Think about the people you admire. The ones who have built something meaningful. The ones who are respected, successful, consistent. They didn't get there because they were always motivated. They got there because they were disciplined. They trained themselves to do the right thing at the right time, over and over again, even when it was boring, tiring, or inconvenient. Motivation wants comfort. Discipline embraces discomfort. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation needs height. Discipline needs a plan. That's why people who rely on motivation never finish what they start. But disciplined people, they show up, they put in the work, and they build habits that outlast their feelings. Discipline is freedom. It may sound strict or limiting at first, but the truth is, it gives you control. It puts you in the driver's seat of your life. When you're disciplined, you're not controlled by cravings, emotions, or outside influences. You learn how to delay gratification. You learn how to say no to what feels good now so you can say yes to what will feel great later. That's how bosses live. That's how high performers are made. The best part? Discipline is built. You don't need to be born with it. You develop it, one choice at a time. Every time you follow through on your word, even in small things, you strengthen that muscle. You become someone you can trust. And when you can trust yourself, everything changes. Confidence increases, results accelerate, growth becomes natural. So if you're waiting for motivation to strike, stop. It's not coming every day. But discipline, that's available every moment. All you have to do is choose it. Choose to lead yourself. Choose to take the step. Choose to stick with it, especially when it's hard. Because the people who change their lives aren't the most excited. They're the most committed. You can have the right mindset, powerful goals, and a strong work ethic. But if your environment is working against you, it will silently sabotage your growth. Your environment is one of the most powerful forces shaping who you become. It's either pushing you forward or pulling you back. It's either feeding your potential or draining your energy. That's why if you're serious about working on yourself like a boss, you have to take your environment seriously. Look around. What are you surrounded by? Who are the people you talk to the most? What kind of energy fills the room you spend your time in? What do you see, hear, and consume daily? These things might seem small, but they add up. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. Negative conversations plant doubt and fear. Passive entertainment weakens your focus. You may think you're strong enough to rise above it, but no one can grow in toxic soil. Even the best seeds need the right conditions to thrive. Your environment should reflect the future you want, not the past you've survived. If you want to grow, place yourself in spaces that challenge and inspire you. Surround yourself with people who talk about ideas, not gossip. Spend time in places that promote focus, not distraction. Fill your room, your phone, your mind with things that make you sharper, wiser, stronger. Everything you see or hear is programming your beliefs. So make sure your environment is working with your goals, not against them. Even digital environments matter. What do you follow on social media? What voices are influencing your thoughts? What kind of content are you feeding your mind with before you sleep and when you wake up? You may not realize it, but your phone is one of the most powerful environments you live in. A few seconds of negativity, gossip, or toxic influence can weaken your energy for the whole day. But when you're intentional about filling your feed with purpose, wisdom, and inspiration, your environment starts building you instead of breaking you. You can't always control everything around you, but you can control what you tolerate. You can clean up your space. You can cut off or limit access to draining people. You can choose what you watch, read, and listen to. You can set boundaries to protect your peace and preserve your growth. The greatest leaders in the world aren't just disciplined with their time. They're disciplined with their surroundings. So treat your environment like a partner, because it is. Every day, it's either lifting you or lowering you. It's either reminding you of your greatness or convincing you to settle. Change your environment and your results will follow. If you want to work on yourself like a boss, don't just change your habits. Upgrade the space where those habits are born. Everybody talks about goals. We're told to write them down, visualize them, say them out loud, and hustle toward them. And while goals are important, they're not enough. Because a goal is just a destination, a finish line in the distance. But how you get there, that's not powered by the goal itself. It's powered by the systems you build every day to support it. If your goals are the what, your systems are the how. And without the how, the what remains a dream. This is where most people get stuck. They have big goals, but no structure to reach them. They say, I want to be healthy, but they don't create a system for their meals, their workouts, or their sleep. They say, I want to build wealth, but they don't create a system for tracking expenses, saving consistently, or growing income. They say, I want to grow spiritually, but they have no daily rhythm that keeps them connected to purpose and peace. In short, they have the desire, but not the design. Systems are what transform goals from wishful thinking into predictable results. A system is a repeatable process. It's the daily routine, the weekly rhythm, the non-negotiables that keep you aligned with your vision even when motivation fades. Systems make progress inevitable because they take the guesswork out of success. When you build the right system, success becomes a byproduct of showing up. Think of any successful person you admire. Behind their achievements, there's a structure, a rhythm, a method to their madness. You might see the outcome, the book, the business, the body, the brand, but what you don't see is the invisible system that got them there. That's what bosses build. They don't just chase results, they build the process that makes results repeatable. And here's the truth. Systems don't need to be complicated. In fact, the simpler they are, the more powerful they become. A system can be waking up at the same time every day, reading for 30 minutes each night, planning your week every Sunday, setting aside 15 minutes every morning for deep thinking, prayer, or strategy. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Because your future is shaped not by what you do once in a while, but by what you do consistently. The beauty of systems is that they free you from having to rely on willpower. Willpower is a limited resource, but systems work even when you don't feel like it. Systems create flow. They automate excellence. They create momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. When you have systems, you don't have to wonder what to do next. You already know. And that clarity saves time, energy, and mental effort. Most people don't fail because they lack ambition. They fail because they lack structure. They're trying to reach a goal with no ladder. But when you work on yourself like a boss, you don't just think about what you want. You design a system that makes getting it a natural outcome. So here's the shift. Stop obsessing over the goal and start obsessing over the process. Build a system you can stick to, improve it over time, track it, refine it, let it evolve as you evolve. When your systems are strong, your goals become inevitable. And when your goals become inevitable, your growth becomes unstoppable. That's how you build like a boss, not through intensity, but through intelligent, intentional systems that work for you every single day. In a world that loves quick fixes, overnight success stories, and explosive transformations, it's easy to get swept up in the idea that success is about doing something big and dramatic. People often look for the one thing, the one moment, or the one event that will change everything for them. They think if they can push themselves hard enough, if they can work intensely for a few weeks or months, they'll finally achieve their dreams. But the truth is, success isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. Intensity may give you a burst of energy, but it can also burn you out. It can leave you exhausted, overwhelmed, and in need of a break. It's like sprinting a marathon. Sure, you might have a strong start, but you'll tire out before reaching the finish line. In contrast, consistency is like steady pacing. It's about showing up day in and day out with unwavering commitment. It's not about giving 100% once in a while. It's about giving 80% every day, no matter how you feel. The magic of consistency is that, over time, those small, consistent actions add up to massive results. Think about the growth of a tree. It doesn't grow by having a few intense bursts of growth. It grows steadily, day by day, season by season. It develops its roots deeply, inch by inch, until it becomes unshakable. And that's exactly how success works. It's the small, often unnoticed actions that build up over time. Reading one page a day doesn't seem like much, but by the end of the year, you'll have read a whole book. Working out for 30 minutes a day might not feel like a huge change, but in a year, you'll be significantly stronger and healthier. Little by little, you're building habits, skills, and momentum. The challenge is that consistency requires patience. It's about trusting the process, even when you can't see immediate results. It's easy to give up when things aren't happening quickly or when progress feels slow. But those who succeed are the ones who keep going even when the results are delayed. They don't quit because they don't see immediate returns. They trust that their consistent effort will eventually pay off. They understand that greatness isn't about what happens in one intense moment, but about what happens when they keep showing up day after day, doing the work. Another key element of consistency is discipline. It's easy to start something, to dive in full force with all the motivation and energy in the world, but the true test is continuing when the excitement wears off. It's about doing the work even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, and even when it feels like no one is watching. The disciplined person understands that success is a long-term game. They're not interested in quick wins. They're interested in sustainable growth. They know that the journey is just as important as the destination. One of the most powerful aspects of consistency is its ability to compound. Over time, the consistent effort you put into any area of your life compounds, like compound interest. The more you show up, the more progress you make, and the faster your results come. This is why small, seemingly insignificant actions, when done consistently, lead to massive outcomes. People who get results are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who've learned how to be consistent in their actions. They've found a rhythm and stuck to it. They don't quit when it's hard, and they don't get distracted by temporary setbacks. So if you want to work on yourself like a boss, remember this: it's not the intensity of your actions that will bring you success, it's the consistency. It's about creating a routine, sticking to it, and showing up every single day, no matter what. When you commit to consistency, you're playing the long game. And that, because you did something huge, but because you kept doing the right things over and over again.